Welcome back to Badminton World, the show that brings you all things badminton. Time to enter the second half of the year where we take a more detailed look at the annual badminton tournament circuit. The Road to London 2012 reaches its climax as we confirm the final qualifying lineup for the 2012 London Olympics. Plus, we get up close and personal with a rising star in the badminton universe, Spain's Carolina Marin. In this month's Badminton World, we look at the many different types of tournaments and events that make up the sport itself, and we try to bring some clarity to their differences and similarities. To those who aren't familiar to badminton, recognizing the different levels of tournaments can be, at times, overwhelming. Essentially, there are four main levels.
Well, at senior level, you talk about the four levels, but in fact we have a plan to get juniors right way through to World Championship sort of a level. And so from the junior events, we go to futures events, international series, international challengers, Grand Prix, and of course the Grand Prix has got a higher level, the Grand Prix Gold events. Then we go to Super Series, and then the Super Series has 5 events that are even higher than the other Super Series events, the Premier events. And right on the top of that is the World Championships, Thomas and Huber Cup, which are the World Team Championships for both men and for women, and also the Sudirman Cup as well. So you've got that pathway going through on the different levels of tournaments, right from junior level, right up to World Championship level.
Each of these different levels serves a purpose.
The different tournament levels that we have in BWF is basically, first of all, to provide a player's pathway, you can see career pathway, from coming into the international circuits and then developing themselves to become finally maybe world champions or Olympic champions. And obviously the lower tier, the lower level in the pyramid structure is where players start off playing international tournaments, where they start off getting experience more on a continental level. Obviously also in terms of travel cost and lots of different players at different levels trying themselves out, whether badminton is going to be their career pathway and whether badminton will maybe become something that they will professionally do in the rest of their playing life. And then actually we have the third level, the Grand Prix and Grand Prix Golds. Kind of a very high level tournament structure where many of the very best players play, but where also players at the lower level coming through the continental level tournaments try themselves out and grow up finally to become part of what we can say is the pinnacle of the structure throughout the season anyway, being part of the OCN BWF World Superseries, where then the very best players will be there every time and where you can say you're actually presented with the best level of badminton, and where also you can say that it becomes slightly more commercial, and it's where the giants of badminton, they really fight the big battles.
And the players learn how to adapt and prioritize according to the different tournaments and levels.
In the next series, maybe the expectation not so high compared to like Thomas Cup, atmosphere then very, very high. So fans, everything, and it's a team event, so it's different. And maybe Super Series also is quite high because playing against all the top players. So only in the series and challenge maybe it's lower, just not so high maybe the expectation is lower a bit.
Of course, for most players, their main objective is to compete in as many types of tournaments as possible to collect points, which improve their international rankings.
I don't know how many players specifically choose, or certainly for the Super Series, of course, the top players in the world are contracted. They have to play in a certain number of Super Series events per year, and of course they must support the Premier Super Series. But there are a number of players who would say to themselves, okay, yes, I'm a Super Series player regularly, but there's a possibility for me getting more points towards my world ranking for me to play a Grand Prix Gold event. And also you've got to remember that there's only 12 Super Series events per year. That's, if you're only playing, equates to one a month. So most players would be wanting to play more than 12 tournaments a year. So they will then play some Grand Prix Gold events, and they will believe that they have a better chance of getting further in a Grand Prix Gold event, because it's not having all of the world's best players there, and therefore there's more chance of them getting further through the tournament, getting more ranking points, and that's how they make their decision.
First of all, I choose actually which is close to me, close to my home, and I can't travel every time 12 hours flight to Malaysia or Indonesia or somewhere in Asia. So it's easier to go to Europe with the short flights, low cost, and I know the players more, I know the area, so it's easier for me. But I'm trying to choose the tournaments according to my level, of course. And at the moment, I think Challenge and Grand Prix is my level, and Super Series is a bit too early.
Then there's the pinnacle of all tournaments.
Without any shadow of a doubt. I mean, when we talked about the tier of tournaments and what you build up to and so on, on top of all of that, bigger than World Championships in badminton, biggest thing in sport and in most sports is the Olympic title. So of course every 4 years, every Olympiad, there's a desperate attempt by every player to try and qualify for those Olympics, because it's not just the best players in the world. It's a very complicated qualifying system that ensures that there's players from all over the world participating at the badminton event, at the Badminton Olympics.
But then we had level 1 tournaments, which is the BWF major events. You can say that's really the highly promoted tournaments where players, they go for the World Champions, to become Olympic champions, to win the Thomas or Uber Cup or to win the Sudirman Cup. Really the big and very prestigious tournaments of the world that as such is not something that goes on. It takes place once every 2 years or once every year. So it's not something that is easy achievable to win. And with the Olympics being really the pinnacle of everything, only taking place every 4 years. So there's very few players getting the possibility to actually become world champions or getting one of these medals. So something the players are really looking forward to, and it's very prestigious to win these tournaments. So you can say World Super Series tournaments takes place all throughout the season, and then we have these major events that once or twice every year present badminton at the very, very, very highest level.
Altogether, the various events combine to form a tough test for the players and a great spectacle for the fans. And no matter what the strategy of the players may be to rise to the top, there are common elements that must be adhered to: hard work, determination, and persistence.
We started last April. Probably took us about half a year to be able to participate in the World Super Series. Yeah. So until now, we've been continuously participating in different Super Series.
I started playing at 7 until I think 2021, almost 13 years I think. And to start from also challenge, and then slowly after I get champion also in challenge, then GP Go, then only Super Series. Because Super Series also depends on your ranking. If you are too low, you can't play in Super Series also.
I started the Grand Prix tournaments last 1.5 year ago, 1.5 year. And the Super Series I started in the last year. I started playing Super Series because now I'm round number 27. So before I used to train a lot, to come in the top rank so that I could get a chance in the Super Series. So now I'm 27, I wish that I would give my best.
All in all, there are 4 general levels of tournament. The lowest level in terms of winnings are continental events, where you will see up-and-coming players. Above them are the Grand Prix Series and the Premier and Super Series tournaments at levels 3 and 2, which require a minimum world ranking. And top of the tree are the big guns like the Thomas Cup and the World Championships.
Badminton. No sport comes close.
It's time for a break, but before that, here's another badminton brain teaser for you. Which badminton tournament has the most expensive prize money to date? Coming up next, we take a look at the road to London 2012 and see who has booked their tickets to England. So stay tuned to Badminton World.
Hi, I'm Kate Fukun and you're watching Badminton World.
Welcome back to Badminton World. So how did you do with our badminton brain teaser before the break? The Asiata Cup is the right answer, and it was first held this year in Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. Talking about prize money, Shuttle Time is the perfect start for the new badminton generation to start investing in their dreams. So we look at this month's tip.
This game is played in teams of 3, although numbers can vary. Player 1 starts the rally and leaves the court to the side. Player 2 takes the next shot and leaves the court to the side. Player 3 comes in for the third shot and the sequence is repeated. Players can only enter the court from the baseline and leave the court from the side. For safety, give the teams the direction of rotation.
Log on to bwfshuttletime.com to find out how the BWF Schools program is bringing badminton to a school near you.
After 363 days and 110 tournaments, the qualifiers for the London 2012 Olympic Games have finally been decided. In the men's singles, a total of 40 places have been awarded. The 5 continents were assured of representations, with Malaysia's Lee Chong-wei for Asia, Denmark's Peter Gade for Europe, Guatemala's Kevin Cordon for Pan Am, Uganda's Edwin Eckering for Africa, and New Zealand's James Unsen for Oceania, named as the top representative of each of the 5 continents. World number 66, Raoul Must, scooped the absolute last spot.
Well, I was there in Beijing already, and I qualified for London. So I think it's a nice tournament, of course, and many good players, a lot of attention. Easy to get more money in the sport of badminton from the government if you're qualified. And if, for example, in Estonia, it's so important to qualify for Olympics for the other Olympic qualification period for the next time. So if you qualify, then it's you also deserve, and you can ask more money for the next time. So it becomes down to improve the sport and trying to improve yourself. So maybe in few Olympics, it's actually a chance to get the medal. At the moment, it's more qualifying for Olympics and then trying to play good.
In the women's singles, a total of 46 places have been awarded. The 5 continents were assured of representations, with China's Wang Yihan for Asia, Denmark's Tina Born for Europe, Canada's Michelle Lee for Pan Am, Egypt's Hadia Hosni for Africa, and New Zealand's Michelle Chan for Oceania, named as the top representative of each of the 5 continents. In the men's doubles, a total of 16 pairs have been awarded a spot, with China's Chaiyun Fu Haifeng, Denmark's Matthias Boe Carsten Morgensen, United States' Tony Gunawan Howard Buck, South Africa's Dorian Lance James Willem Viljoen, and Australia's Glenn Worf Ross Smith, named as the top representatives of each of the 5 continents. In the women's doubles, a total of 16 pairs have been awarded a spot, with China's Wang Zhaoli Yu Yang, Denmark's Christina Pedersen Camilla Ritter-Yule, Canada's Alex Bruce Michelle Lee, South Africa's Michelle Claire Edwards Anari Viljoen, and Australia's Leanne Chu Renuga Viren, named as the top representatives of each of the 5 continents. There will be no mixed doubles representatives from the Oceania and Africa continents and non-qualified in the top 50 as of the cutoff date. The smasher is defending Olympic men's doubles champions Henry Setio and Marquis Kido missed out on qualifying by a mere 71.6903 points, sitting at number 9 in the world rankings. Indonesia, the obvious powerhouse, has more than one qualified pair allowed to participate, hence they would have to make a decision as to who would go to London. All member associations will have until 31st of May to decide on their representatives for the 2012 London Olympic Games, in accordance with the regulations put in place by the BWF in order to have a balanced and diverse Olympic Games. And there you have it, the lineup for the London 2012 Olympics, which is now ever closer as the Olympic torch has already arrived in the grand old city of London.
Badminton. No sport comes close.
Coming up on Badminton World after the break, we have the latest tournament news for you, and we get up close and personal with an up-and-coming starlet, Carolina Marin. So stay tuned to Badminton World.
Hi, my name is Raul Must and you're watching Badminton World.
The India Open came to an exciting close this month as 5 players tasted gold for the first time in their careers at a BWF World Superseries tournament. The biggest story was South Korea's Shun Won-ho, who led the way with a stunning 3-game victory over world number 1 and top seed Lee Chong-wei of Malaysia in the men's singles. There was also joy for Chen Jin as Peter Gates' quarter-final loss finally ensured the Chinese star's path to London, filling China's 3rd spot. Knowing his security, Jin even handed a walkover to his opponent in his own quarterfinal. Won-ho, who had never beaten Chong-wei in 4 previous encounters, celebrated his qualification to the Olympics by winning a titanic match 21-18, 14-21, 21-19. His Korean compatriots Jung Kyung-eun, Kim Ha-na edged China's Japan Open winners Bao Yi-zin, Zhong Zhanzin in straight games to the women's doubles. Kyung-eun Ha-na made up for their many near misses in the past by beating their Chinese opponents 21-17, 21-18 to finally take home their first Super Series title. Thailand's Bodin Isara Manipong Jongjit stopped a 3rd South Korean victory when they battled hard before getting the better of Ko Seung-hyun, Yu Yeon-seong in the men's doubles. Bodin and Manipong didn't fear the second seeds as they had beaten their opponents in the Thomas Cup qualifiers earlier this year. They continued their winning run by taking out their opponents in 3 games, winning 21-17, 14-21, 21-14 to become the first men's doubles pair from Thailand to win a Super Series crown. In between, Asian champion Li Zuru of China grabbed her 3rd consecutive title in the women's singles. She ended Julianne Schenk's one-woman show against China by getting the better of the German in 3 games. Schenk, who had beaten 2 Chinese players, including top seed Wang Xixian, en route to the final, looked tired after reaching her 2nd final in as many weeks and lost 14-21, 21-17, 21-8. Schenk had also lost last week's European Championships, while Li Zuru, who claimed her 2nd Asian crown in 3 years, enjoyed a day off when compatriot Zhang Yanjiao conceded a walkover. Pantawe Liliana, who first announced her arrival on the world stage by winning this tournament a year ago, stopped Thailand's Sudket and Sara Lee 21-16, 12-21, 21-14 to add the crown to their All-England title.
Time to look at the current standings of all the top international players according to the latest BWF World Rankings. For more information, you can, of course, visit the BWF official website.
Badminton. No sport comes close.
For our player profile for this month, we met with one of the wonder kids of the women's singles, shuttler Carolina Marin from Spain. But before we get to know her, let's hear what her coach has to say.
she's a very outgoing person. She's very happy, very friendly, very, as you can see on court, out court also, she is very enthusiastic and very energetic. So sometimes I need to be very patient and I have to chill her out a little bit so that she can focus a little bit. But she is a very nice person, of course.
My hometown, one friend told me one day to join in a practicing in a like not sports center, but it's a small sports center, and I would like to join with her. And then someday I go many days in a week. So I like that, and then my coach told me to join some tournament, and then I will win the tournament, and then I went to the club, and my coach for national center looked me in some tournament, and then he take me for the national center. I started badminton with 18 years old, and then I moved to national center with 14 years old. Yeah, the badminton is not so popular in Spain, but my federation supports us a lot because we are not many good players in national center, and only my federation supports 2 players for the Olympic Games, and I am so appreciative. This year I get the gold medal in European under-19, so my parents went to Finland to look me on the final. So I really appreciate to my parents because I was crying when I take the gold medal, and I have my grandmother died 2 years ago, and I take that for her. So my mom cried, of course, but I really appreciate it for my coach because we are working together also hard, and also to my parents because they moved to Finland to look me on the final. It's like a dream when I'm younger. It's like a dream to play in Olympic Games, and if I play, I also really happy about that. But I think I hope to play in London, but I think in London I don't take the medal yet. But I'm looking forward for Rio de Janeiro in 2016 to get a medal or try to get. So my coach and me looking for that Olympics. If I get a medal, I also really happy about that because I am still younger and I think I need to get more experience. But if I get, I'm really, really happy.
She's a good player. She's playing well nowadays, and in the World Championship, I think she's under 19 World Championship. I think she's a bronze medalist, and she's playing well.
Suddenly, the Spain comes very fast in women's single coming up, and I think she's really have a talent, and depends how she will choose to go with how she decide to carry her talent.
I hope to see her top 10. Our aim is just to become top 5 in the future, and also to fight for an Olympic medal. Why not?
I think Carolina is young, but in the future, I think will be the best players in the world.
That was Carolina Marin from Spain. Definitely someone to look out for at the London 2012 Olympics.
Badminton. No sport comes close.
So far, all the major tournaments of the first half of 2012 have been intense and definitely competitive. Coming up, the biggest of any and all sporting events, the London Olympic Games in July. And of course, we can't forget the double-header of the Jarum Indonesia Open and Leading Singapore Open in June. For more information, visit BWF's official website.
That's all the time we have for you this month, with the exception of this month's selected Super Series moment. Don't forget, if you have a favorite Super Series moment of your own, send it over to badmintonworld@totalsportsasia.com. Although we bid farewell for now, remember, there's always exciting badminton news for you around, and we will have it for you. Next time around, we're packing our bags as we head to the 2012 London Olympics. So it's goodbye from Badminton World. It's the world we know.